This is the first attempt with the monstrosity of a rig that I have to maintain utmost care with. This is a video of me kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, showing off my first prototype of the card games. If you hear a noise in the background, there's a school bus going on by. Anyway, so I'm going to start off by showing the cards, and then giving you the general gist of how the cards are played. This will be kind of a speed round, because I don't have that much time capabilities. I don't know. So I'm going to start off with flipping through all the cards. Put that on the back, that on the bottom, that can stay, that can stay, that can stay, that goes on the bottom, that goes on the bottom, sorry. I was so freaking out about, no, oh my gosh, this is going to be a horrible video, so I wasn't paying too much attention to the order of cards. Also, if the cards are kind of off-center-ish, and they're not perfectly centered, just bear with me again. This is my first time running this setup, and it's a lot more crazy. Or, it's a lot crazier than you think. I might, at the end of everything, show you all what the rig looks like, so, again, I apologize. So, starting off with the first card I'm going to show you, it's called, if my camera focus, it's called Orbix. Looks like a little spider in a bubble. And so, how cards work, or at least red cards, which are monster cards, sorry. So how the monster cards work is there is power on the right side and defense on the left side. And I realized I just messed that up. Power on the right, left on... Sorry. Power on the right, defense on the left. It's a monstrosity. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. And so... And don't worry, I'm going to label it. Once again, sorry, first attempt. So so the text reads, when this monster dies, search your deck for any monster with over 700 power and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. The cool thing about this particular card is that it has what I like to call I haven't really thought of a name for it yet. And if I can find that card, it's called Luxabix. Looks like that. And it has a lot more power, but not as much more defense. It says to play this card, kill one Orbix from either your hand or field, then play this in its place. So what you would do is, just gonna work with this. So say you played an Orbix, hello if you can see me, and you're like, hey, I drew a Luxabix, it's in my hand. What you'd do is you would kill the Orbix from your side and play the Luxabix in its place. Also, if you had an Orbix and a Luxabix both in your hand, you could say, I'm going to kill this Orbix, put it in the discard spot, and in the monster box, play the Luxabix. That makes sense. Also, or I guess that's about the bulk of it. So, going over the different things as I go, I guess makes the most sense. The next card we have is this. It's called Siachi. It has 600 power and 600 defense and no ability. It's a bird. Then we have Beta Box with crud, sorry. I'm stupid. So with Beta Box we have 900 power, 500 defense, it's like a little cricket with boxing gloves. And it reads, when this monster kills one of your opponent's monsters, gains 100 power. So every time Beta Box kills something else, it then gains 100 more power. So in theory, if your opponent had a bunch of weak cards out, you could go bang, 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 kill all three of them, and you'd be up to 1200 power. Next, another card with no ability, it's Gajax, or Gajax. It's like a weird kind of snake with a bunch of spikes all over it. You can kind of see it has red eyes right there. And so it has a lot of power, 1750 and 1300 defense, but no ability. So it's an all-around brute, but other than that, nothing special about it. And then the next card is an attachment card, and I'll explain what you do with these. So you know it's attachment if it's green. It's called the Bottle of Fire, and it's like a kind of potion with a bunch of fire in it. I make jokes sometimes that's not actually fire or lava in there, it's actually hot sauce. Because if you notice, it looks like hot sauce. Now, that was what I was kind of going for when I drew it, sorry. And so, what it says is, when attached to a monster, that monster gains 150 power. So, to kind of just make it easy, if I have this Gajax, right, I can play the Gajax out in my monster slot, then take this Bottle of Fire, and what I can do is I can actually attach the Bottle of Fire to Gajax, And instead of having 1750 power, it now actually has 1900 power, because 1750 plus, oh crud, plus 150 is 1900. If that makes sense. So that's what attachment cards do. You play them onto monsters, and it can even be your opponent's monsters. It doesn't even have to be yours. But they do, I guess they just change stats. The next card, or the next few cards, actually, let's make this a little easier on myself. Oh wait, never mind. Is everything already set up? No, it is not. Oh no, everything's messed up. Alright, well, whatever. Gonna be crazy. So another thing I'm making is a card set. So what the sets are there groups of like a few monsters and a few attachments and a few item cards, which I'll explain in a bit, that are all kind of themed around the same thing. This first one is the Oceanic Swordfish, and I know it looks like the sword is coming out of his chin. I'm going to fix that. And it has 700 power, 650 health, or defense, whatever you want to say. And when this monster is played, any other Oceanic monsters you control gain 50 power. So I'll show that, I guess, now, if I find an Oceanic monster. Like this one, the Iceberg Titan. So the Iceberg Titan reads, sorry, it's kind of crazy. So Iceberg Titan says, so he has 1850 power and 1600 defense. It's really tiny text, but it says, when this monster dies, look in your deck for any Oceanic card. Place it in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. If you do not have any Oceanic cards in your deck, shuffle it anyway and draw the top 2 cards of your deck. So what you could do is you could have this Oceanic Iceberg Titan out, and obviously he's a real brute. I think he's the strongest card in the game. And if you played your Oceanic Swordfish, well then, you know, yay, all of a sudden your Swordfish is, well, it's the same, but, oh no, sorry. Now that he's been played, he boosts this guy up by 50, putting him at 1900 power, and boosts himself up by 50, making him at 750 power. And so a cool thing you can do is combine it with this item card. Item cards are blue, and it's called the Coral Symphony. Also, I know there's no picture. I was in a rush to get enough cards to at least make decent videos, so obviously with me taking like an hour and a half to draw each picture, it was just kind of a rush, so I apologize. Anyway, the Coral Symphony reads, when on the field, every Oceanic monster on your side of the field gains 100 power and health. And so if you see this blue box on both sides of the playmat, you can put the Coral Symphony, a blue card, into the item slot, and with item cards, they're out there permanently until either another item card is played, or unless it says discard item card, or if your opponent plays a card or you play a card that would get rid of an item card. But other than that, if none of those things happen, then your item card stays out there forever. And so, pretty much if you combined the Iceberg Titan, a brute, with the Swordfish, who boosts your Oceanic monsters up, and the Coral Symphony, all in all, your Iceberg Titan would be at 1900 power, 1850 plus the 50 he gets from the Swordfish. And then with the Coral Symphony, he actually goes up 100 power and defense, or health, whatever. So he would actually end up being at 2000 power and 1700 defense, which would easily make him not only the first thing to even possibly be able to get to 2000 power at semi-ease, but strong enough to take out anything. And there's a plane going over my house now. Today's Vehicle Madness Day, how about that? But he'd be unbelievably powerful, so those are 3 of the Oceanic cards. There'll be more in a second. But that's basically how the set of cards will work. Basically, you'll have a group of cards that all help each other out. Anyway, the next card is the Haunting Ghost. And the Haunting Ghost has 800 power and 1400 defense. And it cannot be killed if the monster attacking it has any attachment cards. So for example, if you had that Bottle of Fire, and say your opponent had an Iceberg Titan with a Bottle of Fire on him to make him super powerful and buff him up to 2000 power, then, you know, obviously, well, he can take out anything. Nothing has enough defense to withstand 2000 power. And I'll explain how the attacking works in a second, because I know I'm probably not making much sense. But the Hunting Ghost can't die, because even though the 2000 power that your opponent's Iceberg Titan is obviously enough to defeat his 1400 defense, because your opponent's Iceberg Titan has an attachment card on it, it's completely useless. It's impossible for this ghost to die because your opponent's monster has an attachment card. So it's just kind of a nice little perk. The next is an attachment card called the Vial of Ice. And it says, when attached to a monster, that monster loses 100 defense. So at first you're thinking, hey, I have this Haunting Ghost and my opponent has a Iceberg Titan with a Bottle of Fire on him, right? Well, obviously, because of the Bottle of Fire, he can't defeat my Haunting Ghost. But what if, your opponent's monster was not this, nor did it have an attachment card? What if your opponent's monster was only a Swordfish? Well, it's still not enough to beat the Haunting Ghost, because 700 power can't beat 1400 defense. It's not enough. However, what if I had something that had, say, if I can find it. No. I don't think I have anything with 800 defense. Wait, don't I? Sorry. I'm looking for a card. There we go. Okay, this is a good example. So, forget Haunting Ghost. He's dead. To me. If we have the Luxabix, it has 1000 power and 750 defense. I'll quickly explain how combat works. So, he has 700 power. If it's your turn, you played your Luxabix, you killed off your Orbix, you can attack it, because 1000 power is more than 650 defense. 1000 is a bigger number than 650. So, what you do is you would attack him. Because you have more power than him in defense, he's dead. But at the same time, whenever you attack a monster, that monster attacks you back, whether or not it wants to. Meaning, it has 700 power, but you have 750 defense. Therefore, you wouldn't die. Also, if it attacked you, but its 700 power is less than your 750 defense, it can't kill you, so it fails the attack and then dies. So a cool strategy to take things out, if you don't have the ability to take them out just with raw power, is to attack them, or attack something that can kill you, is to attack something that you can't necessarily kill, but it also can't kill you. So you have less defense than it does, but it has more, or basically it's got less power than your defense, you have less power than it has defense. So you both fail your attacks, you both die. Anything that fails an attack will die, whether or not it was forced to attack because you attacked it, or if it attacks you and it fails the attack. So, you see, 700 power can't kill 750 defense. And so your 1000 power can kill your 650 defense, or hit their 650 defense. But you didn't attack them, you were being nice. And so what they do is they play a Vial of Ice, which takes away 100 defense to whatever it attaches to. And you're probably thinking, well, why would I want something to, why would I want to attach it to one of my monsters and make it lose defense? Why would I want it to be weaker? Oh, I just tripped over a light. And you're probably thinking, that's what you're probably thinking, is why would I want to make something weaker? Well, the nice thing is that you can play attachment cards onto your or your opponent's monsters, or I guess, yeah. So your opponent can attach the Vial of Ice to your Luxabix. All of a sudden, it's down to 650 defense, not 750. Therefore, even though you kill it, it will still kill you because you have less defense than it has power. So you may have successfully killed their Swordfish, but they just killed your Luxabix, which is nice. So it's just kind of cool strategy. So that's what the Vial of Ice does, and that's briefly explaining the combat system as well as why, how you can attach things to opponent's monsters. The next card is the Oceanic Shelly. It's like a little squid thing in a shell. And so it has 0 power and 1200 defense. You're probably like, well, why on earth would I want to play something that has no power? So it can swap its power and health at any time, that's important, but cannot change them again until the start of my next turn. So for example, say your opponent, or your opponent had out, I don't know, what's something with a lot of defense that'll also work here? Alright, here's a kind of complicated example. And it involves these 3 cards, right? Not that. That's not been covered yet. It's a terrifying world. I'm not going to start singing. There we go. It involves a Gajax, the Shelly, and a bottle of fire. What you do... Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So you have the Shelly, right? With only 1200 defense and no attack, if they attacked you with their Gajax, game over. There's nothing you can do. However, a really cool strategy is this. At the start of your turn, play the Shelly, and then immediately attach a bottle of fire to them. Or no, sorry. Play the Shelly and swap its power and health. Mixed up there for a second. Now that you've swapped its power and defense, technically, it has 1200 power and 0 defense. That means that with 0 defense, any attack will kill it. Anything that has more than 0 power will kill it. No, it can't live any hit. However, now that it has 1200 power, even though your opponent's Gajax has 1300 defense, if you put the bottle of fire on it and boost it up by 150, sorry, there's a car that drove by, the little flash on the wall. So, now that it has 1350 power, once again, you'll lose your Shelly, but your Shelly will also kill the Gajax. So there's just cool strategies like that that can take out some really tough monsters with some really not tough cards. You just gotta think about it. The next card has no stats or anything, nothing, no ability. It's Takata, or however you want to say it. 1000 power, 1200 defense, all around balanced and pretty tough monster. Not a lot can take it out. And the next is another Oceanic card, the Coral Necklace. When attached to a monster, that monster is considered an Oceanic monster, meaning whatever it is now an Oceanic monster. Therefore, any buffs or any abilities or cards that buff up Oceanic things will now work on this new monster. And it also gains 100 power and 150 defense, meaning that not only is it now an Oceanic monster so that it can be buffed up by those cards, but it also is just generally stronger. The next card also has no ability. It's called Thermactra. 1200 or 1000 defense, 1700 power, no ability. It's just a cool dragon. People think it looks like it's breathing out water, but it's breathing out fire. I just wanted to make it blue. And I guess I missed some cards because I haven't covered 1 or 2. Sorry about this. It's been a pretty off day for me. So, how about that weather? Okay, so the next card, let me just organize this. Don't worry, the video is almost over. I'm sorry. So, this next monster is the Oceanic Stingray. Very weak, 350 power, 500 defense. Not the strongest. When it dies, draw a card. If the card that you drew is an Oceanic card, when that card is played, it automatically gains 450 power. So although your chances of drawing an Oceanic monster are very low, if you do draw one, when it's played, it gains a ton of power. Right, the next card is the Trident. Now with the Trident, it says, when attached to a monster, that monster gains 100 power. When attached to an Oceanic monster, it gains 250 power. So if you attach it to an Oceanic monster, it gains a lot more power than if you attach it to something normally. However, when you attach it to something normally, it does still gain power. And I believe the last card, yay, finally we're over, almost. Last card is the Typhoon Vortex. It's an item card, so you play it down in the item slot, and it just, has that effect forever. And, oh, camera, please focus, there we go. When played, send one monster from the field into its owner's hand, then discard this. So it's an item card, so yeah, you play it, and it should stay out there. But like I had said earlier, it says to discard it when it's played, so discard it. What you can do is, if you have no monsters and your opponent has a buffed up, like 2000 power, Ice Spirit Titan, you can play this, send it back into its hand. All the attachment cards on it are discarded. So even though, if it was buffed up by item cards, yeah, it'll still be powerful, but any attachment cards on it with no monster to attach to, go back into your owner's, or their own, it's your opponent's hand, sorry. Hang on. my voice, I should stop. And I think, yeah, I think I covered all the cards. Oh gosh. Sorry guys for the scratchy voice. Yeah, I covered everything. So, if you do like how the game is turning out so far, and especially if you like this board that took a long time to make, and you like, or at least enjoy how the video looks, this rig was a lot more complicated to set up than I thought. And I'll really quickly show it to you. So anyway, you know, here are just all of the cards for at least the 18 that I've made so far. So if you do like the cards and you do like the board, then be sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below what your favorite card of all these was. And before the video ends, I will show you. So this is the setup. So, oh crap, sorry. I'm in my room, or this is my room at least. And this is actually my desk, like just where I do homework and stuff. And oh my gosh. So on my desk, I took everything off. I took my weird nightlight off. I took my lamp off. Took my clock off. And these are some old sheets, by the way. And so I have the board on my desk, and then I had this monstrosity. It's a really tall tripod, going good, almost a meter, if not already more than a meter tall, with a boom arm or whatever it's called. And I actually had my phone resting in here, so it could have easily toppled out at any time, but it held through, so high five phone. And just like that, the video is done. So yeah, I do hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, then be sure to leave a like. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.